Hi everyone, this is Alina from Adventures in Vegan Living. Today I want to share one of our family's most favorite recipes. It's a sweet chili tofu stir fry. It's got tofu, it's got some delicious vegetables, and everything is covered in this sweet, sticky, slightly spicy sauce that is just finger licking good. So first of all, let me show you what we're going to do. First of all, I've got this block of extra firm tofu. I've already pressed it. Then the vegetables that we're going to use. Broccoli. This is a pretty large head. If your heads of broccoli are smaller, then you can use 2. Then I've got a red bell pepper. I've got an onion. It's about the size of a tennis ball or something like that. Then I've got some garlic, some scallions. And as for the sauce, we're going to use sweet chili sauce. This is the brand that my store had. It's not spicy at all, but it's nice and sweet. Then we have sriracha, low sodium soy sauce. We've got some cornstarch. If you're sensitive to cornstarch, I recommend using either potato starch or arrowroot starch. Those both can do the job here. Besides, I want to make some rice to serve our stir fry over. So I've got some white basmati rice, and I'm going to make it in the Instant Pot while everything else is cooking. So I'll show you how to do that. First things first, I'm going to slice my tofu into blocks that are roughly ½ an inch thick. Next, I'm going to preheat my big 12-inch nonstick pan over medium-high heat. While the pan is preheating, I'm gonna go get my Instant Pot. I'm going to measure out about 2 cups of basmati rice. This is the cup measure that Instant Pot comes with. You can also use just a regular cup to measure out the rice, whatever. I've rinsed my rice. Now I'm putting it all into the Instant Pot. Now I'm adding my water. When I add water to my rice, I'm usually using the proportion of 1 cup of rice to 1 1/4 cups of water if I'm cooking my rice in the Instant Pot. So for 2 cups of rice that I'm using here, I just added 2 1/2 cups of water. Next, I'm putting my lid on and turning it to lock. Now I'm going to pressure cook. And the rice I'm going to cook for 3 minutes, and that's it. If you're making brown rice, then you can use the same proportion of water, but then you set the timer for 23 minutes instead of 3 minutes, and everything else goes the same. I'm adding a little bit of avocado oil, swishing it around, and now I'm going to add my tofus. If you don't want to fry the tofu or want to cook it without oil, then you can also bake it. I suggest turning on the oven for 400 degrees and then baking these blocks of tofu on parchment paper for about 15 minutes, then flipping them and baking them another 15 minutes. While the tofu is cooking, we are going to chop up our vegetables. Let's start with broccoli. We're chopping the broccoli in these bits that are about bite size. Set it aside. Let's check on our tofu. All right, so you see we've got this nice golden crispy side here. This only took 3 minutes. Now we're going to let it all cook for another 3 minutes. By the way, my Instant Pot timer just went off. Pressure cooking is done. Now we're going to wait till this timer reaches 10 and it will be done. Next up, I'm going to chop my pepper and my onion. I'm going to chop all of the peppers into these nice, fairly large squares. I'm going to do the same with the onion. Back to our tofu. Let's check it out. So nice and crispy on the other side. So I'm just going to take all of them off. So I'm not even turning off the heat yet. We're keeping the same pan on the stove. I'm going to use it to cook this broccoli now. So I just put all my broccoli in the pan, put a little bit more oil in the pan, cover it with a lid, and let's wait a couple minutes to let it steam. So I'm not going to let the broccoli cook all the way. I'm just getting it a little bit done. That improves the texture when we put it in the stir fry. But by the way, our rice is done. Our Instant Pot timer has reached 10 minutes, so I'm going to cancel and press the vent over here. So let's open the lid. All right, beautiful. Now I'm going to fluff it up. I know it's a little bit steamy, but can you see? Nice and fluffy. And I'm just going to put the lid back on and we'll leave it alone until we need it. So the broccoli has cooked nicely. It's now bright green. We got a little bit of char on some bits. I think this just adds to the flavor. So now I'm just going to move it to this bowl. Come on. Now that the broccoli is done, I'm going to cook my peppers and onions in the same pan. Alright, so I'm adding a little bit of oil, swish it around, and now I'm adding my peppers and onions. Once again, we're not trying to cook peppers and onions all the way. Once they get that little bit of char around the edges, we're going to go ahead and take them off the heat. Okay, so here we go. See this? A little bit of char around the edges. Now we're going to take them off the heat. So now that I've cooked all the vegetables, I'm going to chop my garlic, slice some scallions, and make the sauce. Now we're going to make the sauce. First, I'm going to add about 2-3 tablespoons of soy sauce. Next, I've got my cornstarch. I'm adding about 2 teaspoons. Now I'm going to mix it up. Make sure that most of the cornstarch is dissolved and there are no more white chunks left. All right, this is good. Next, we are adding sweet chili sauce, about half a cup of it, and mixing it all in. And the last component is sriracha. You can add more or less to your liking. I'm going to just do about 1 teaspoon because I don't want it super spicy, and mix it in until it's mostly uniform. There we go. We'll also add a little bit of water. I suggest starting with 2-3 tablespoons, and then you can always add more right in the pan when the sauce is cooking. Next, I'm returning my pan on the stove, reheating it a little bit. Now I'm going to cut my tofu into bite-sized pieces. So I'm going to do lengthwise and then get about 4 or 5 cuts crosswise. By the way, if you baked your tofu instead of pan fried it, you can do the same thing, just to cut it into bite-sized pieces. So my pan is hot again. A little bit of oil. And in goes the garlic. We are just going to cook it real quick until we can see it becoming slightly golden. It smells amazing. Next, I'm going to pour our sauce in. Give it another stir. And in it goes. You'll notice that it's getting thicker right away. All right, this is about the consistency I want it to be. If you accidentally got it too thick, you can just add a little bit more water. You know what, I think it's getting a little thick for my taste, so yeah, I'm just going to pour a little bit of water from my teapot. Do this a little more. Next, I'm gonna add my tofu. mix it in to get it mostly covered with the sauce. Oh, it looks just beautiful. And we'll get our veggies back in here. So at this point, we don't need to get anything to cook for any length of time. We're just tossing everything with the sauce and reheating it gently. The smell is amazing. Next, I'm going to add my scallions. Mix and blend, and then I'll just take it off the heat to avoid overcooking the vegetables. All right, so now that everything is ready, I'm going to make myself a nice dish with rice and some stir fry on top, and we'll taste it. So all what's left to do is to do a taste test. Real good. The sauce is nice and slightly sweet, but not like overpoweringly, with a touch of spiciness from sriracha. The vegetables are nice and crisp. The tofu is lovely and chewy. Definitely better than takeout. So now you know how to make a delicious and easy sweet chili tofu stir fry. And I'm also going to link up a recipe, printable recipe card on my website. Please give this video a like down below. Subscribe to my channel. Watch some more of my videos. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.